Next, I'd like to introduce Donna Lucas, this year's chair of the Cal Chamber Board and CEO and President of Lucas Public Affairs. With over a 30-year career, Donna has earned praise for her thoughtful and timely advice on the major policy challenges facing our state. Her success as a communications consultant and businesswoman reflects her experience. A partial list, and folks, I mean a partial list of the positions she's held, includes California Press Secretary for George H.W. Bush's presidential campaign, Deputy State Treasurer, Deputy Press Secretary for Governor George Deukmejian, Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Chief of Staff to First Lady Maria Shriver. She also chairs Maria Shriver's Women's Alzheimer's Movement. And next year, she will chair the College Futures Foundation. As you can see, Donna is busy. Donna may look familiar to you as she was the chair of the host committee in 2018 and emceed this very event only a few years ago. Please welcome my friend and the 2021 chair of the California Chamber Board of Directors, Donna Lucas.
Thank you, my friend Susan. I'm honored to serve as the chair of the Board of Directors for the California Chamber of Commerce, and I'm happy to be with all of you here this morning. I'd also like to recognize all the small businesses with us today. You might be surprised to learn that 71% of Cal Chamber's members have 100 employees or less. And Governor Newsom just proclaimed May as Small Business Month, and that's certainly worth celebrating. I've built 3 successful businesses over the last 30 years, all of which center around storytelling. Over the years, I've worked for presidents, governors, constitutional officers, as well as hundreds of mission-driven organizations, government agencies, and businesses large and small. And I can't emphasize enough the value and importance of telling your story. Ultimately, knowing what the story is and sharing it, both inside and outside of your organization, is what creates and sustains success. Like the Cal Chamber, my public affairs firm represents a diverse groups of businesses from all sectors of our economy: energy, tourism, entertainment, education, healthcare, technology, and agriculture, just to name a few. And like the Chamber, we help businesses tell their unique stories, and in doing so, make it easier for them to navigate California's complex regulatory and legislative landscapes. The story of any business isn't simply the net earnings line at the bottom of a financial statement. The real story is about families achieving their goals, kids reaching their potential, building communities, collaboration, creativity, inventiveness, gumption, dedication, and inclusion. We provide livelihoods for millions and strengthen communities in every region of the state. We supply goods and services, support nonprofits and charities, and we're training the next generation of California's workforce. These stories, our stories, your stories, need to be told so that the value is understood and appreciated. As we all know, this is a unique time in our state's history. The last 14 months have been especially difficult and in some cases devastating for the state's business community, especially the 4.1 million small businesses, of which about 1/3 are minority owned. Many small businesses continue to struggle daily to make ends meet. Some have been forced to close their doors on their businesses and on their dreams. The good news is we are turning the corner and the Golden State is coming back. And I'm proud to say the Cal Chamber has played a key role in helping state small business community get back on their feet. As I mentioned earlier, 71% of the Cal Chamber members have 100 or fewer employees, Nearly 20% of the chamber member businesses are owned by women, and more than 1/3 are minority owned. This diversity is growing, and that makes our state even stronger. During the pandemic, many businesses have turned to the Cal Chamber for help on everything from navigating COVID-19 protocols and regulations to information on PPP loans to managing their now remote workforce. Our helpline was literally a lifeline for thousands of California businesses. So for nearly 100 years, the Cal Chamber has been a champion of the state's innovators, entrepreneurs, and problem solvers. The State Chamber amplifies our stories so they can be more easily heard. And because of the effectiveness of our team at the Cal Chamber has a 97% success rate in helping members achieve their legislative goals. In the 2020 legislative session, only one of the 19 job killer bills made it into law. Although California is coming back, there's still some serious challenges ahead as we work to fully reopen our economy by this summer. The pandemic has devastated our vibrant tourism and hospitality industry, costing us more than 500,000 jobs. We need to reinvest in that industry. Drought conditions are always a blow to California agriculture, and part of that story is when California farmers suffer, so does the rest of the world, which depends on our fruits, nuts, and vegetables. About 95% of California farms are family-owned. Extreme heat and aging power systems throughout the state may continue to plague our communities with rolling blackouts that turn off the switch on consumer spending, force businesses like neighborhood grocery stores and restaurants to close, and leave large manufacturers or technology companies with no option but to shut down, disrupting businesses and displacing workers. With California's economic recovery on its way, now is not the time to further test the resilience of California businesses with excessive new taxes and regulations that do more harm than good. So, if we tell these stories, our stories, then it's more likely action will be taken to address some of these difficult issues to advance planning and investment in our infrastructure, both physical and social. Major employers and small businesses are important voices that legislative members and lawmakers need to hear. These voices offer a practical perspective on abstract policy issues, and they are the voices of California, because one of the greatest things about our businesses is they reflect our state's unique diversity. I would guess few policymakers have ever signed the front of a paycheck. Do they understand the pressure of bottom lines and profit margins? Do they understand meeting a payroll or accommodating the needs of employees and still cover the monthly bills? I know that if more businesses successfully explain their essential role in fueling the California dream, there will be more creative thinking about fostering a business climate in which innovation, initiative, and entrepreneurship flourish. One of our greatest challenges and our greatest opportunities is the retooling of our workforce for the jobs of the future. That requires a partnership with educators from kindergarten through graduate school. Companies are already taking aggressive steps to launch apprenticeship programs, support online learning, and engage in creative retention programs for workers at all levels. These are the kind of actions that help close the opportunity gap and create the kind of open and inclusive workforce needed for success in this century. I'm happy to say that U.S. President Michael Drake, California State University Chancellor Joseph Castro, and Community College Chancellor Eloy Oakley all sit on the California Chamber Board. It's collaboration with them and other education leaders that it will help us build this 21st century workforce. So our challenges notwithstanding, California continues to lead every other state in employment in manufacturing, tech, entertainment, biotech, and much more. Our exports in dairy products, fruits and nuts are greater than any other state, and we're home to some of the best companies who are pushing the envelope of possibility and inventing a better future. Now, that's a pretty compelling story. We have our challenges, but those challenges will be easier to surmount by working together and ensuring more Californians, especially lawmakers, hear the full and complete story of the real drivers of California's economy. Thank you, and I turn this back to my colleague, Susan.
Thank you, Donna, for leading the charge.